But there's a problem. Everybody wants to eat it. The city and the people in the city, and perhaps more importantly. And anyway, my friends and I, my compatriots, the dearly departed, some literally, some metaphorically, uh, may have made a deal with an eldritch whore in the lake to stop a different, which wants to eat the city, to stop a different thing from eating the city.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just felt like, given the circumstances, putting that out there.
And a good response to that should be. And you can kind of tell like she is very purposeful in what she's saying because she's trying not to give it away, even though she knows that he knows she's, an Aslan, but she's
Mhm.
trying not to like outright use her name or any like simple pronouns because that's not part of the language that she grew up learning. So,
Yeah, well,
but
that's a great question.
I guess if she's behind, I guess if it's like in an like inside place, she probably does have her helmet off, so you
I,
can
I I
kind of.
assume we're in the guild headquarters now.
So
Where you found
she's
the
probably
dead body of your
Yeah, I
yeah.
assume we're
person.
standing over the shoes right now.
We'll say this is the next day. This is day 2.
Okay. Mm.
Um, Another thing that I find interesting about this situation is basically Maximilian. If this is true, what he's saying, he has just outed your friend as well. Because, you probably, I mean, I don't know what her feelings are on like the Verzheiners and the order of the city and everything, but I don't he didn't tell you that they made this deal. So it's an interesting situation.
Yeah, we're trying to save the city from imminent destruction. And after that we're bobbing and weaving, I suppose. But anyway, yeah, I've been left alone by my co-conspirators, so I've decided to conscript you.
You can kind of see her head's like slightly tilting a little bit,
Yeah, yeah, that's how I
and
feel. For whatever it's worth, I'm with you.
Um,
and she's just kind of just nodding her head a little bit.
you could all of you all could also make a it would be a trying to find what it would be, like a perception check. It could either be, and actually you can use a different thing for this for a different result. It could be awareness, or it could be guile, or survival. You can make any of those checks.
Okay. So we would just do a D100.
Yeah, it's a D100, and then you want to get under your. It depends on the skill. So awareness is perception. You want to get under your perception score. If you have a skill rank in awareness, then you can add that to your perception score to make it easier.
What does getting a 0, 0, and a 0?
That is a critical success. Um, so
Like
I'm gonna.
literally
You got a 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
0, 0, and a 0.
That's like a nat
I'll take
20,
it.
except even way less likely than a nat 20. There's a 1% chance of getting that. So let's see. Maximilian, did you pass? You did.
I think I did.
You rolled a 5, yes, and your rating is 48. So I will start with Maximilian. Maximilian, you notice that there are shadows moving outside the windows of this place, of the Entenpide Traders Incorporated, where you find your dead friend. And the Verzheiner contact that you had entered this dark pact with has also mysteriously disappeared. This is not the best day for Maximilian, but there are obviously people outside, and they're trying to see what's going on inside the building. Now, Alexandrite, you know that these people were the people that you all let go. Not just that, but it looks like they went and they got help. They are guild artisans, and they have armed themselves, and they're casing the outside of the house looking for a way in. You probably only have a few moments before a lot of people show up here. Probably more than 10 people.
Oh, that'll teach us to not do murder.
So the helmet goes back on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and your Verzheiner is here. I don't know how you're going to hide it, but we'll assume that you find a way.
I obviously wear bigger armor than...
You're big, yeah. The Verzheiner's like a normal sword for you, yeah.
Yeah.
So
it kind of goes and hides like my tail hides.
Yeah.
Where it goes down like a, kind of gets scrunched a little bit, but...
So what do you all do?
Well, I certainly would have my my sword kind of underneath, because when I pictured the armor, I kind of think of like, was it Final Fantasy 12 armor from the Empire, the one like the leader, like the generals of the military. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No, my nerdery fills on that. Final Fantasy 12.
Yes, it's the one with
armor.
like.
Is it? Oh, it's like it has like, it's almost like the Dragonborn, but like maybe with more ornamentation. It's got wild stuff coming off of it and things.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it. I don't know if this is what you mean. Maximilian armor is what it says here.
How ironic.
I don't know if this is. I don't actually play Final Fantasy. I'm sorry.
Hold on, I can look it up.
While she's dawning, is there a back door to this place?
Absolutely, there's a back door. You identify.
Does the back door have windows?
There are also windows to the place. This is not some kind of stronghold or safe house. Maybe it should have been, but
Yeah, maybe it was 5 seconds ago, and now it's not.
Easy in, easy out. It would not be hard to get out, and you could try to find a way out. It looks like you could either try to make it into the second floor, and then try to make it across to a nearby building. These are kind of those Bavarian kind of style houses. You could probably try that, and then break into the nearby window of another burger's house, a merchant's house. Or you could try to run, or you could try to sneak out of a window through an alleyway and hope you don't get caught. Or you could try to just confront them, or try to hide. There are a lot of places you could try to hide here if you were trying to smuggle yourself. There is a lower area here, a basement.
What is this building constructed from? What is its physical material? Is this a wooden structure or a stone structure?
It's whatever it's wood, and then that stucco, I can't remember, daub, whatever, like earthen.
Yeah, I got you.
Like clay.
Yeah, it looks like one of those, like I said, like the Bavarian houses where you've got like a daub, and then it's cross-hatched and reinforced with wooden planks.
All right, does this building appear surrounded, or does this look like we could sneak out a back door?
It looks like you could try to sneak out a window if you were
All
trying to
right,
sneak out.
you got an opinion one way or another?
Well, it's not like our ace in the hole is here. And it seems like it only caused anger. So if it is good to fight back, then sure. But if it is not smart, we should go.
You start to hear yelling in the nearby buildings, as there are other intruders with other buildings, it seems, and you hear people arguing loudly, and you hear the crash of glass.
Interesting. Okay, I have an idea. Are there lanterns in here? Light sources.
Yes, there are several, what do you call it, sconces on the walls, and there's also a lantern in this room, and then you would know without searching much that in the bedroom there's a lantern as well.
Okay, I would like to take a lantern and light it
Okay.
and smash it on the floor.
All right. You set this wooden place aflame, along with all of the records, goods, and money of the Entenpide Traders Incorporated.
Could I have grabbed the money?
You can totally grab the money and rob
You
this
should
person.
absolutely.
I will say it will take a little while. So what I'll do
Okay,
is
so like I don't think like it would have taken me long to find a hiding place for my sword in on my person.
right.
So after that I would probably be trying to get as much as I can.
So you can either choose between trying to, and I'll tell you how I'll do this, is when you try to get out of here, it will simply be a harder check. I was going to make it routine and I'm going to make it standard. So it's going to be a harder check. You'll lose 10% of your chance.
Okay.
If you want to try to grab something, but you're probably going to either have to choose or it's going to be even harder to try to sneak out of here. So you can either
Have
choose, you can choose to take all the documents and intel that the Entenpide traders have, or you can get a crap ton of money, or you can take longer and do both. But if you do either of those, it's going to make your chance of getting out of here harder.
we should totally take the money. Here's the deal. Here's my thought. We're in the nice part of town, right? Not the nice part of town,
Yeah,
but like the part of town where if something's on fire, people will come and investigate and say that's and not say that's not my problem.
that's right. You're in Handlaren, right across
Yeah,
the river from the Hoffenmoor. So it is one of the nicest parts of town that's not in the towers.
yeah. So my thought is this is probably going to get some guards and some Verzheiners and maybe even some firefighters on us. And it should be harder to lynch us in those circumstances. So hopefully this crowd will disperse and we can sort of maybe sneak out when they do.
So you're hoping that help will arrive soon enough. I don't want to cheat you out of this. It's very because you all both rolled very well. You're correct, I think. We'll see. I'll roll for it.
Hmm.
But it's very likely that like the guards will get here. It's very unlikely they'll do it soon enough. But you could try to hide. Like there are places that you could attempt to hide and conceal yourself.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's kind of. I think what I'd like to do is kind of split the difference between everything. Sort of hide out for as long as possible until the guys storming the place get skeeved enough that they dart off, and then slip out. Ideally, in between that and the guards showing up. That's my intention.
It's because you rolled very really well with awareness. It's becoming clear. You're hearing crashing glass and yelling, and then scuffling in nearby buildings. It's clear that it's becoming clear to you that this is not just like they're not just here for you. This is a the leader of the trading guild has fallen, and now like guild artisans are trying to go ahead and take it out. And so there's a civil there's a sectarian fight that's starting to break out here. Yeah,
Ah, that's not good.
but there's probably more than 10 people outside that are trying to break into the headquarters, and they're going to do it soon. It has 2 floors, a main office on the front end, sort of like a reception area with plenty of documents and papers, and then a rear office that's open, and the body of Albrecht von Vonderstump on the ground. And let's see, and it has a upper floor. It has a lower floor with a cellar with multiple rooms, a rather expansive cellar, which is probably where you kept your Verzheiner, and then an upper floor with bedrooms. And then a dining room that is next to and adjoins into the reception on the first floor with much fine furniture, and it's appointed very luxuriously.
All right then. Do you have strong feelings, inputs you want to make here, or should we skedaddle?
Money is important.
What is important?
Information is important.
Yeah,
I'll say that you have 20 seconds to decide.
money.
Money is more important.
The money, then we get up onto the second floor and escape to a burger's house,
Agreed.
locking it in.
So the idea is if you can make it over to the burger's house, you're in the mix of all this stuff, but they don't think you're associated with Albrecht. You're
Right.
not in the
I
You're not
think
in the
I
worst
think
of it,
yeah,
at least.
we're in the bullseye right now, and I think if we make it to a burger's house, we're not out of the frying pan, but we might be out of the fire, literally and metaphorically.
Especially since you set it on fire.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up the rules for falling.
Uh-oh. That's not what you want to hear the dungeon master say.
You want to look up the rules for falling.
Well, I'm just curious. I
I
can't
would
help it.
I'd prefer it if you looked up the rules for jumping.
Oh, that one's simple. That's quite easy. Okay. You take, and I want you to know this, like, it's not D6 per 10 feet. It's 1d10 per yard of damage. And the amount of damage will put you along your physical peril track. So, if I roll a 10, it doesn't explode because I don't see it being a D6. You can also attempt to try to evade it. So you actually take a test, and you might actually just land like a hero and keep moving. So
I love landing. I'd even skip on the hero part.
So the very worst thing that could happen, to be honest, is you would take a moderate wound, which might be something like a broken leg or something like that.
That's pretty bad,
It is pretty bad. Okay,
especially in a riot.
so yes, you make it upstairs, and you, I imagine you could use your Verzheiner to simply smash open the things that secure the items. It spills everywhere. You're able to just pour it into a nearby bag, and this is an immense amount of wealth. You come here to find that your friend is dead, and now his enemies are devouring what's left. But before they can, you rob your dead friend, and you can each take a point of chaos. Actually, I'll check and see, because I think robbing the dead might be I think it's just 1 point of chaos.
Are we robbing the dead, or are we robbing the people robbing the dead? Because practically it's not his wealth anymore, and other people have clearly claimed it.
Let's see.
But is it really? Because weren't we helping him in the first place?
Yeah, we're trying to save his wealth from the people trying to rob him.
Or just trying to figure out how to continue what he's
Yeah,
doing.
really, we're the good guys of our own tale.
Um, let's see. Sign of corruption of specific characters. Grave robbery is a minor offense, so you each take a point of corruption. Um, and then I think an interesting thing is where you let her in on this. Actually, it's a hard one because like you kept the secret in the first place, but then you told on the Verzheiner. So I feel like never mind. I won't do that one. But anyways, you make it up, and there. I
But
mean,
wouldn't it like, cancel each other out at that point?
right.
Because like there
It's
was
not
the
clear
secret.
which is the good one and which is the bad one, but they probably cancel each other out.
Yeah, I'm down with that. So
Hey,
this is an. Oh, go
is
ahead.
taking the chaos rank if I have positive order ranks, do I reduce one order rank? Is that how that works?
That's a good question, and I'm gonna say
Because that's
no.
what I was thinking
And
when
Gotcha.
in the last section.
yeah, I think I
That's
did that last time, but my hesitation on that is if we did that, it would be impossible. It would almost be pointless. Like it's so hard. Like you get an order rank if you were awesome by the end of the session. So like that would be really hard. Yeah, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna rule that like you can do both, which kind of
okay.
makes sense anyways. Like you, that's more realistic.
Yeah, so like murdering someone and then donating their property to charity would make you very good and very evil, not very neutral.
Right. Yeah. Too wrong. Too trying to donate the. It's not a video game where you can be like, all right, I'm gonna raise my reputation after murdering this guy. Yeah. No. 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 Anyways. Okay. This is a ton of money. I mean, a ton of money. We're talking. You're able to quickly obtain probably. I'm gonna say 500 crowns. This is more money than you've ever seen in your life. 500 crowns, I would say that's probably something like 50,000 or more, maybe more like 500,000 gold in Dungeons and Dragons. Like this is like an immense amount of wealth. But this is one of the most wealthy people in the entire city. And as you hear the glass crashing on the first floor and the door being splintered open, and you hear shouting and everything. You see the window with someone is awake in the building that is next to this one. There is it's morning. Don't let the image confuse that. Well, actually, we'll say it's like early morning, and there is a lantern and candlelight lit there. Somebody's awake. What do you do?
I accept these terms and I would like to very calmly and quietly unlatch our window and open it up.
All right, it's about 2 yards across, 1.5 yards, and it's probably a 12 or 13 yard drop. All right, it's more than that. 10 yards. Let's see, 10, 3 feet. So 15 yards drop.
We were on the second story.
Sorry, 10 yards. I don't know how to
That's
do
really
math.
far.
30 feet. It would hurt if you fell.
I think we'd die.
You might.
Familiar with how large a yard is?
I mean, I'm giving you the math. It'll do 1d10 damage if you fall.
All
And
right.
you're unable to roll out of it.
I would kind of turn around somewhat with my shield out to kind of make it look like we were trying to just defend ourselves, which technically we are, but to make it look more like obvious that like we're just trying to get out of the
Yeah.
situation.
You tell Maximilian. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that like he can go out first and then I'll go out after him.
Yep, totally jumping.
All right. Make a athletics check, or I feel like there ought to be another one here, but maybe I'm
It's
wrong.
gonna be the same for me.
Okay.
All right. Yeah,
Do you want me
everything's fours, but being smart. So
You could also, for you, Denise, you could also instead make a toughness check or a and this would change the result, or a
Hey,
skullduggery, which would be like stealthily, like leaping, you know,
I think I did it.
like
I
parkour.
rolled a 23 and I needed to do a 40.
You all right, with the 23, you jump across the gap. Um, uh, did you take any of the money?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you've
As
got
much
like
money as
money
I
and
could.
stuff. It's clanking and stuff, and then you slam against the opposite wall and break one of the glass pane and stuff, but are holding on. You're able to pull yourself up into the window, and a man in a nightcap and in his night garments is holding a candle, and he's like, "What are you doing here?"
Uh, Hello, good sir. I was just stopping by to let you know you should leave before someone murders you. There's
Please
something of a riot.
don't rob me.
I'm not here to rob you.
I'm here to help you.
That
Sorry.
was really good too.
Um. Uh.
I'll climb through his window. Absolutely.
Yeah, he looks really alarmed. I don't think there's anything else that's probably going to happen with him yet. He definitely doesn't look like he's going to fight you. But he is in between like bolting out of here versus like listening to you. And then what are you doing,
Oh, come on, man. Put some clothes
Alexandrite?
on. You're not in a position to run for your life looking like this.
What does Alexandrite do?
She would kind of wait to make sure he got through into the window,
Yeah.
and then she would try to gingerly make her way out and try to jump. And I rolled already, so she failed. Uh,
Oh no. Oh, let me get my fate tokens. I forgot about those.
okay,
Do you want to use one?
probably
Okay.
because I'm
I
sure
think you
wearing
should
all
do
that
it.
armor is not very helpful.
That makes it automatically succeed, and now I get one.
Okay, so do I have to re-roll or anything,
Nope,
or
automatically succeeds.
Love to hear it.
But now randomly, I'm gonna make one fail. You know, so all right. So like because you failed though, you leap through the air and stuff. I think gold coins are flying everywhere, and you just smash through the window and take a whole portion of the wall out. And then this man is like, ah! And then he like drops the candle and then runs, and sets that house on fire as well.
Yep, I'll definitely like reach down and gingerly pick up the candle off the floor
It
and
is a
put it on his
candle.
bed.
That's fair. Oh wait, you want to set it on fire.
Yes, no, I'm like, this will burn faster.
Okay, roll a chaos dice. Roll a d6.
Alrighty. Roll d6. That's a 4.
You have 4 chaos points.
Oh boy. Really? You know, I didn't earn any last time.
Yeah, I mean, you did just set the man's house on fire. I don't.
He's probably going to be murdered within the next 120 seconds. So, you know.
Yeah, and he runs out into the streets. You hear scuffling and yelling and now fighting as well. The guards are still not here, but there's no one that has broken into this house yet. What do you do?
Except for us.
You could attempt to try to leap into the next house because he has this house is the same. It looks like the next house over. It's not actually a house. It's a little old stable building with a loft, and so it has an open window that's not
Oh, when
barred
you say
or
stable
glass.
building, do you mean like the kind of stable building that would have horses in it?
You're not sure. It might. It's also possible that this used to be a stable and then they've just left it here or use it for storage now. You're not sure.
Well, I think that we should minimize the risk of falling to our deaths and calmly walk down to the first floor and leave.
All right.
is there any
And
sort of back door kind of situation? And sorry, my cat knocked over my D100.
Yeah.
I accept these terms.
Yeah. It.
He chose violence. Like, is there any sort of like hidden back door or anything?
I'm gonna make
or
this
back
really
door
small
to, like,
and zoom in, and we're gonna start city crawling here. Um, so I'm gonna zoom in really far, and we can talk about what the city blocks. So you went into this adjoining building here, and there is absolutely a back door leading into a small plaza that's just dirt and a torch-like lamppost that is unlit, and several buildings on the opposite end of the plaza.
I would totally like to head out there and see if I could peek in on the stable and see if there's horses there.
You do that, and I will see. There are no horses there.
That's unfortunate. Well, we're in a back plaza. If no one else is here, let's head in the opposite direction of the headquarters.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Mine. And I know you want to play D&D too, but no. Get your own dice.
Worst D&D player. A cat. How about?
It's just wanting attention. Girl.
I don't have it. Let me try. No, I don't have it. Okay. Okay. So you make it into the back plaza, and there's outright chaos and pandemonium behind you at this point. There are people breaking into houses and women screaming, and so you can hear a shrill, echoing screams in the morning air as the sun is rising to the northwest, and you can also hear the sounds of fire crackling as buildings start to be lit aflame, and there's even fighting among dozens of groups of people in the alley on the opposite end. It's just an open alley fight at this point. And now you're starting to hear horses and what are probably guards, but you hear them a ways away. They'll probably be there within moments. But you've made it out.
Can we tell if they're coming towards us, or are they coming from another direction?
It looks like they're about to cross this bridge within moments, and you could assume that they're probably going to try to go in and break up this fight.
Okay.
But
would we
the
be in
traders
the,
and the
like-
guildsmen are fighting. They're having a turf war now.
Okay. But will we be seen at this point, or are we a little bit enough away that, like, their line of sight's gonna be?
They wouldn't be able to see you from where you are. You can hear them,
Okay.
but.
Okay.
And as the sun rises over Dammerung, the offices of the Entenpide Traders Incorporated are burning to the ground with their guildmaster, his body mostly destroyed from chaos magic anyways, it burning down around him, and an entire pillar of the society of Dammerung is falling. So now, you don't know what happened with your friend who's a Verzheiner. The person who had made this dark pact is dead. And the one who understood it, he's the one that had the text. You didn't grab the text, by the way. So they're destroyed, as far as you know. You have more money
What
than...
text were these? Did I miss something?
I don't know if your character would know this, but the player, we talked about how what happened with Albrecht Vondersump is actually, he's the guildmaster of the traders, the Entenpide Traders, and he was losing his business, and this was happening. This turf war was brewing anyway, and he knew the city was like falling apart, so he found evil texts like eldritch grimoires, and started to try to commune with evil powers to see if he could solve the problem that way.
Yeah, I'm okay letting those burn. Those the people who read those had a nasty habit of exploding. So yeah.
And of course, I wouldn't have realized anything anyway, so I just chose money.
Let's
We all have more money than like you could ever imagine. Like, you probably
Certainly more money than the guards should catch us with. So let's head to my apartment.
okay. To head to
Very
your
well.
apartment, you're going to have to travel across the Hoffenmoor in the morning to the Hallow Towers, right? Kind of this ways. Across from the plaza, and then into this road across from the fortress. So, let's do that. It takes you a couple of hours.
And I would probably be slightly behind him, almost looking like a bodyguard,
Yeah,
so
that
that
makes
it
sense.
wouldn't seem as out of place for, this tall armored person to be following him.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe I just rolled that.
Oh, did we die?
No. Um, oh, wait, I'm doing it wrong. Thank God. Okay.
Oh, we did die.
Okay, that's much better.
I guess the question is how painful is this death?
I misinterpreted my my dice mechanic I made for this. Okay. So you pass along the streets, across the bridge. If you imagine like a crime scene, you guys just walked away like with flames at your back as like the cops show up as all this chaos is happening. You're able to walk away from it all, and you cross the bridge as galloping guards, the holy guard with their crimson robes flapping in the morning wind, charges over into the situation to mercilessly just start chopping down anyone in the street. And you make it across the plaza that's quiet in the morning. There are some stalls and vendors, and you make it into an alleyway. I assume you said that you don't want to be seen with all this money, right, Maximilian?
That'd be ideal.
There's an alley that you often take here.
I suppose I should ask what's this money situation like? Do we have bags with dollar signs, or is this like hidden away in pockets and pouches and backpacks?
Well, initially, I think, like I said, Alexandrite just found a bag and just stuffed it. So what you do with it now is up to you, of course.
Okay, I was thinking that the alleyway probably isn't a very good idea because that's typically where muggers hang out. But then again, we have you, so we're probably fine. So let's take the alleyway.
Very well.
This is one of the alleys that you would take coming to and from Maximilian to try to if you needed less attention. It's an alleyway fallen into disuse. Usually, no one's here anyways. It's called Drunkal Alley, and it winds its way, kind of one of the earlier alleys in the city. It's not been well laid out until you get closer to your apartment. As you do, you find something in the alley. It's near an intersection on the corner is a small shrine to the God Emperor, and it has little votive candles and flower offerings, and there's something gouged in the stone beneath it by a knife, and several copper pennies are in a tiny plate.
What's been gouged? Is it like a message?
Yeah,
Or just gouge?
it's misspelled, and that points the letters like trail off. It says, "Listen to the color of worms."
All right, good talk. I have nothing to add.
Oh, and I'll move the map up. Okay, let's see here. Hallow Towers. What does your apartment look like?
You're asking a great question. I don't know. Are we talking like the exterior or the interior?
Well, you go in. I would imagine it's the sort of buildings here still don't have like lots of stories. I would imagine, but it may have two or three. And otherwise, most of the buildings still have that um, Bavarian type of design, except for as you get closer to the tower, sometimes they incorporate random winding bits of stone that the structure is built around. The stone is bizarre how it like and it doesn't make any sense how anybody could have made it. It could be used as a staircase or as a support structure. But other than that, it's a normal, what would it be, 15th century apartment.
So is it a studio apartment or does it have multiple rooms in it?
For someone like Maximilian, probably there are multiple rooms.
Yeah, I imagine the way the layout would kind of work is like when you enter the foyer is like a relatively presentable and like standard noble stuff, but once you go deeper in, it's a lot more like the dude's a surgeon, and it gets a lot more utilitarian real quickly, and there's just like kind of blades and implements all over the place, and but not terribly neatly arranged. And there's a certain, it gets a bit more workshoppy.
Rising up above you as you enter this part of the city, um, the Hallow Towers are these bizarre structures not made by man. And the people came here to Dammerung um, years ago and built the city over top of it and around it. This part of the Vale used to be known as a kind of place of criminals and pirates, and it used to be thought of as very rustic. But the oracles, these religious zealots, took the prophecy of the Geritect and forced everyone into labor and compliance and order, and they built this city up around these strange stone structures. Um, so my question is, what is the plan? What are you going to do now? Are you still going to stick with the Dark Pact, or is that like lost now? Like, I don't know.
That's a great question. Well, the Dark Pact, the substance of the thing, was that we had to get our hands on this Geritect thingy, which the elves have, apparently. This prophecy. I can't remember. Do something with it. Uh,
Give it to someone, basically.
yeah, give it to someone, and that might stop stuff. And if it didn't stop stuff, then some, fish people might protect us. Uh, and that was the. So we could do that.
What do you think, Alexandra?
Um,
Also got plenty of money. Could just buy a house in the countryside and wait it all out.
I could, but there is danger about to happen if um if this one understands.
Yeah, it seems like everything is going to explode. You may have noticed the murders. It's my professional opinion as a noble of the city that everything here is terrible. And it's going to get it's only been getting worse, and it seems like it might come to a head when there's this meeting thing going on, maybe about that time frame, about a week. And so we could try to stop that from happening, or we could do something else. I'm open to suggestions. I kind of live here. I don't have a whole lot of options ordinarily, but
There's money, so
there's money.
there's more options. But the question is, save people in the town or just leave and not come back?
Yeah, that seems like the options.
What are our options if I use that right? We? Your
Yeah,
language is
we this too.
we. We. Okay. We want. What are the ways we can save people? And you kind of see as she's using we, she kind of looks a little proud of herself, like,
Mhm.
hey, I'm actually using it right.
Well, the options as I see them, it seems like basically we could try to grab this Geratech thingy and do something with it. That involves heisting the Elven Manor, which is the thing we were talking about before. And I don't really have any other ideas at present.
I might be stating the obvious, but in D&D sometimes this isn't. So uh, I uh, I have absolutely no subtext for you. I have absolutely no. I don't have an intention. You would not be ruining this to say, "Let's get out of here." You can, or anything else in between. Part of the intention of this adventure is a stress test. So what it is it's a location and event based adventure. You can see there's been things happening, right? And you can affect those things. And then you've got people and places, and it's sort of a you make a plan and decide how you want to interact with that. So there is no wrong answer. It's whatever you all think would be interesting or truthful or about your characters or whatever you want to do.
I'd like to think of it as it's all wrong answers, and it's just what wrong answer do we want to pick?
Hmm. We have a lot of decisions.
What do you think, Alexandrite? What would she do?
See, she would probably be kind of torn because she doesn't really necessarily have any connections to this city beyond, her people, so to speak. Being Julianus, Maximilian, and Albert. That's how I'm going to say his name because I cannot.
There's some.
Albert something. But, one's gone. The other one had blown himself up. Um, so she really doesn't have much connection. But on the other hand, despite her love of battle and fighting and everything like that, she doesn't necessarily want to see anyone else hurt that can't defend themselves,
Yeah.
so to speak. So she's kind of like in the middle.
Um, as you are like trying to figure out what to do, it's a very difficult position to be in, certainly. Except you do have a ton of money, and the city is going to crap. Um, but there is a man outside. All of a sudden, you hear ta 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 like a knock on the door downstairs, and when you look outside, Maximilian, you see your friend Franz Hoffen, one of the local nobles, and he's wearing his a dandy crimson split brim beret and the little pantaloon things that like flare at the bottom and then become tights. And he's like he's like Maximilian, I know you're in there. We have so much to discuss today. Do you not have patience today? Hello, Maximilian. And
I'll 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 say, quick, get all this money under my mattress, and I'll go and I'll open the door.
you open the door.
I would do that and like kind of find somewhere to hide for a bit.
Um,
Unless did he see me as we were coming in?
no, and you can tell actually, Alexandrite, that this man Franz is clueless. Like he doesn't know that you're there at all. But
Okay.
you can easily hear what's going on. He's just not super great with his situational awareness of his surroundings, and he's got this like curly mustache that goes down like this, and otherwise a rather pug-like flat face and nose that there's much cousin love that has helped to produce this
It's,
man, and it's pretty obvious. But he's one of the people that kind of spreads rumors and information and everything, and he's like, Maximilian, it's so good to see you.
it's great to see you too, Franz. It's been a wild morning
Mwah,
for me.
mwah, mwah.
Yep. How's it going?
Please, can I have some tea, please?
Oh, certainly, certainly.
I
Come on in. I've got a friend over as well. So not quite alone here, but
Oh,
any
please
friend of
let me
mine is a
speak
friend of
to your
yours.
friend.
No. And I'll go make the tea.
You're so
I'm like hiding out somewhere in the house.
you're delightful, Maximilian. You're such a joker. And he sits down. He thinks you're joking with him. And the thing about Hans is that, like, or Franz, sorry, Franz Olfen, is he's pretty useless, except that he's a sort of like a vector of information. And I mean vector in the way that you might use it as like a disease. Like he just sort of carries it around with him. And so by that means you can gain information. But he sits down and
You see, your problem there, Franz, is you've muted yourself. Still muted.
sorry about that.
There you go.
He sits down and crosses his legs and waits for tea.
Yeah, I'll make him the tea.
What's Alexandrite doing?
She's probably like, I guess, crisscross applesauce inside the bedroom because she had to go and hide the money underneath the bed anyway. So
Yeah.
she's like kind of like trying to crouch down like behind the bed, which I'm assuming is kind of blocking some of the like.
Oh, it's not
view.
hard. It's not hard to hide from this man. Certainly, yeah, he's pretty clueless, but you can see and hear everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Is that your
But
goal?
I'm just kind of just hiding and listening, but I'm not like super hiding, I guess. I'm just like making sure there's like something kind of blocking me a bit, but I can still hear.
Sure. So, yeah. You make tea for him, Maximilian?
Mm-hmm.
He takes it gladly and sniffs it and sips on it and stuff, and he's like, so Maximilian, where were you the last evening?
Oh, I was. Gosh, I was somewhere completely innocuous. But I did have. I did have. It's just a smart and crazy thing. I had it where I happened to be, which was entirely innocent. Had a view of the the merchants area, the guild, and all that. And I don't know if you've heard, but there was a riot there just
Oh,
now.
how dreadful!
Very dreadful, very droll as well.
Yes.
Ugh.
I just knew that those people down there were bound to end up in that sort of situation.
How have things been with you? You mentioned you had a lot to. Sounds like something. You said you had a lot to say. It sounds like something happened.
Oh yes, well, as you
Tell me everything.
know, there's the convocation is in 5 days, 6 days,
Mm-hmm.
5 days.
It's always changing.
It's 5 days. Well, there's a dinner here in 2 days, and we're all wondering who's going to be invited. And, more importantly, what will they do with their delegates? Oh, forgive me, but you know that a delegates is... He's, well... over the hill, as they say. I think that it should be Lord in Theobaldo. I know that some people do not think well of him, but it's clear he's such a dashing man, and well, his wife isn't quite of the same spirit, but Lord Theobaldo is just so dashing and clever, and it's clear that he will lead the city. Do you have any Theobaldo clients, Maximilian?
A great question. Do I have any sweet gossip on the Theobaldos?
You can make a rumor check.
Boy, can I. Bounce between tabs here. All right.
What else is going on?
Some rumors.
Meanwhile, Alexandra, you can make another awareness check. Man, that's becoming a god skill in this game.
Oh, it is.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm going to make the rumor check fail.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't
in that case, it fails.
That's a good thing to fail on. I mean, other than like falling out a window and dying, you know. Anyways, you don't. You don't
I guess
have...
I'm just totally reminiscing everything, and I don't pay attention.
No. I didn't. No, I made his rumor check fail. Did you also fail your? Did you fail your awareness check as well? Ah, okay, yeah. Yeah, you're trying to fuss with the bed, and like the bed's just like scraping like on the floor and stuff, or and it's just fortunate that like Franz is such an idiot. Otherwise, he would see what's going on. But it's not a comfortable place to be. And anyways, as far as Maximilian von Spee, you have actually had trouble gaining clients in the Theobaldo house. The Theobaldo house is sort of like the... nothing he's saying is too surprising. And in a way, Franz is being a little bit catty. Because, like, trying to gain a client in the Theobaldo house would be quite difficult. It's almost like him kind of saying, you know, yeah, you've never really been able to work that out, have you?
Yeah, I'll say I'm kind of dry, and I'll say no. The Theobaldos have been quite resistant to my ministrations.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, perhaps then, have you had any clients in the Inturus house? After all, you were down in the merchant quarter, where you saw all that took place. It must have been for one of the merchant families, eh?
You know, I can't, of course, can't discuss my clients' personal lives. But did I have any clients?
You said out of character?
Yes.
Oh. You can make another rumor check. I have no tokens.
Oh boy. Look at that. I failed organically.
Nice. You can always use these to automatically
Yeah, I can.
succeed. Okay. Yeah, those are like two of the major competing houses, and you don't have any clients in them. But you do have a Bridehard client. And one of the leaders of House Bridehard, in fact. Anyways, he goes on about this for a while. And basically, he says that the nobles today have been talking constantly about this dinner because they believe that there will have to be an announcement in advance of what to expect as far as the succession of House Bridehard.
Oh, interesting.
And they think that he thinks, and the other nobles that he's spoken to think That would have to be announced at the dinner in 2 days.
And so you, Franz, my good friend, think that the successor might not be a member of House Brightheart. Is that my understanding correctly?
Well, of course, no one in House Brightheart is hardy enough. They are all quite, well, childless. It's just most unfortunate, really.
That would be quite a change.
The Brighthearts are always in my prayers. This guy never prays. That's made up.
I love the commentary. That's very interesting. And I presume this dinner everyone's going to be there, right? All the nobles.
Yes, well, it is a select audience. Have
Hmm.
you received an invitation?
Have I received an invitation?
You have.
Well, mm, I might have. How about you, Franz? Have you been so fortunate?
I haven't received it yet. I'm sure that I'll receive it at any time.
Oh, of course. Do the invitations come with a +1 or +3?
Well,
I'm asking the dungeon master.
you would know that it is Dammerungian custom to be able to have retainers attend with you. So to have retainers, it's common.
Okay. I'll say, well, Franz, um, I'm sure I could swing an invitation, talk to some of my friends, and I could bring you along with me if you don't manage to land yourself an invitation. I'm sure you'd love to be there.
That's like one of the most harshest insults like
Yes.
he could possibly receive, and he looks at you and with tension and his like tea, and he's like, "That is most generous of you." And he sets down the tea, and then maintaining his composure, he's like, "Maximilian, I so love our chats. They're delightful, really."
Be sure to let me know if you get any details about any more rumors about the succession. I'd be quite delighted to hear about that. And you know me, I'm sure I could find some way to pay you back.
He does a like ridiculously flourishing bow, and
I
then
absolutely do the same thing.
yeah.
Imagine we have the same flourishing bow, but for opposite reasons.
Yeah. Okay, so he leaves. You're there in the apartment alone. One thing that you know from this is that there is a lot of talk, like the heat and intensity of the paparazzi is intense right now with what's going on. So there's a lot of activity. The other thing that you would know about the Hallow Towers is that it has less of a presence of the Holy Guard because the houses themselves have their own house security.
Right. Very, very good. Very interesting. Well, all right, he's gone.
Okay, I'd probably like peek my head out and they come out.
All right. So yeah, but the question remains: what is the plan? Is it to escape the city, or is it to try to still do this dark pact, or maybe now that you know one thing that you have that is a secret and a very dangerous secret is it's sort of a state secret is where is the Geritect, and you know where it is. So that's something you have. Yeah, where you could try to get more money and things, then get out. What do you all do? I mean, it's up to you.
Is it known that the elves have the Geritect?
Yeah. So the knowledge that there is the physical prophecy is not at you guys actually didn't go there during the campaign, so I actually have to look the word up because I haven't looked at it in a long time. Tower Jehersum. Tower Jehersum is like um, it's like the St. Peter's like cathedral. It's like the epicenter of the oracles, and one of the strangest structures in the outside of the city. And it would make sense for it to be there or the fortress, but no, the physical Geritect is at House Einerinre's manor.
Okay, so we could get that information to someone who wanted, and they could do the heavy lifting for us. However that would be. Have I been to the Einerinre's manor? Do I know what it's like? Is it like a manor or is it like a fortress? What's the defensive situation there?
It's very well defended.
Oh,
All of the house manors are. They all have private fencing, gardens. They're all defensible, and they all have their own private guard. The Einerinre Manor is one of the most reclusive and one of the most secretive, and they're actually elves, and so the elves don't interact with outsiders. And there's a sort of ceremonial guard, and then there's this kind of secret service behind that constantly prowls the outside. Beyond that, you probably don't know much except that the Einerinre Manor has a waterway connected to it. Let me find it. It's not a major one, but it's a waterway that's probably used as an irrigation duct into the meadows. I think a starting point. Too many choices are paralyzing, aren't they? A starting point is just an overarching what would be fun. Do you want to try to escape? Do you want to try to cause chaos, help people, or follow through with this thing to try to help the city, or do you want to like find something else that might help the city? Do you want to find out more?
uh,
What would
I
be fun to you all, to you two
I
in
I
particular?
personally, my card's on the table. I'm totally all about still going through with this. But we're a little only two people, which is a little like
So you don't. So you want to. You're thinking about attempting the heist, the burglary, but you want everybody here to do that.
it kind of, yeah, we had like inroads before. Like there's this guy, the elder son Einarine, who likes to go out and casino it up and everything. And there were a few options that we had for going after that guy. We could go after his like trade shenanigans, or we could just straight up Verzheiner him. But we've lost the people that we had for that, and so we're a little like, um,
It wouldn't be hard to
it's.
gain an audience with if your goal is to try to speak with.
I know we could speak with him. It's just we kind of missed the people that we could use to put the screws on him. Unless we want to actually put the screws on him, in which case we could totally like get some screwdrivers.
Or you could do it in absentia and be like, "We have a Verzheiner,"
Hmm.
if that's the goal. Yeah. Is it Yeseneth? Under an array, but roll 20 is really slow. Let's see. Yeah, Yeseneth, I believe.
And he's the heir to the Einarinares, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's their succession sequence look like? Who's in charge now, and what's that person's reputation, and are they healthy?
Actually, I might have this wrong. I'm taking a look right now. I apologize. It's actually the elder son is Lath, Lathalin. He even has a human moniker, Lath. He's a very young, 104 years old, and he's much more cosmopolitan and open and involved in other houses and trade. He's the elder son. The second son is Yeseneth, and the elder is Elidyar. And then they have a daughter. Actually, I believe she's his niece, Lady Lucerinia. Um, yeah,
Wait, so Lath is not the eldest son.
I apologize. It's Lath is the elder son. Um, and then there's like the matriarch of the house, who's Lady Seriandi.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get my notes straight. So Lath is the cosmopolitan elder son.
Yeah,
And then who is Yeseneth?
Yeseneth is the second son.
And does he have any particular details?
Not that you would know. Not that you would know. You would have to try to find out. You probably have to beat feet and try to find out. But is that what you all want to do? Do you all want to obtain the Geritect, and then to what purpose? Like to still try to give to the what's her name, to nope, not there. It would be
That sea
o- o-
creature being.
Otwin Gotthard is the person that the eldritch being told you to give the prophecy to. What if he's lying? Probably isn't, because his whole thing is like, wait, some other demon is coming into my turf.
Yeah,
No,
he's probably. I mean, like, what's the lie? He won't eat everyone? Okay.
right. It's pretty interesting.
Um, yeah,
I
when
guess
someone's upfront with like, I'm pretty evil, that's usually there's not much of a ruse going on there.
I guess she would
Okay.
kind of look at him at Maximilian and ask like, not with like in it, but she would probably be like, "Do you think whatever you interacted with would have more people involved in all this that we don't know about?"
It's entirely possible, but I wasn't given that indication. And I'm not quite on speaking terms with it. So,
Yes, this one worries that there may be another group that will take it anyway.
does that worry you?
This one doesn't know what being you talk to. So, yes, this one is worried that this being, like all beings, have motives that we don't understand.
I think his motivation was to eat people.
That's the motivation for a lot of them.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But would this being protect those that fulfill its wishes, or will those people be eaten anyway?
I I think we'd probably be pretty all right. I think it's got enough of a selection that it wouldn't go for people that are helpful to it first. If you're concerned about our personal safety.
This isn't something that Alexandrite would know, but I think a comparison for Maximilian would be because it did say all this. Basically, it considers this its place in this, and it called it the interloper. The other demon, it called it an
Hmm.
interloper. And it's almost like if you have a farmer who has chickens, and imagine like foxes coming in to eat the chickens, and it's like, I will defend my chickens against the fox because I'm going to eat them. They may not be eaten right away, but the chickens are there for the farmer, not vice versa. But yeah, but the fox is like an imminent threat.
Yeah, the
It's
city's
just
been
fun to think
around
about.
with this Ythun next to it for a very long time. It's sort of these new arrivals, these new going-ons that seem to be a more existential threat.
But don't let. I'm not leading any like that. That being said, you all can choose anything you want. You can even choose to switch sides or investigate other options or anything. I just want to make sure I understand what it is that you all want to do.
So, do what is that pronoun? You? Am I using it right? You?
I think so, but I'd need to know the rest of the sentence to have the correct context clues.
Do you want to get this prophecy, or do you want to just leave?
Oh,
Just
personally, I'm all about seeing this through. I kind of live in this city, and I'd rather, I'm invested personally in its continued existence and maybe making things a little less awful would be great. But if you think that seems like a bad idea or is unrealistic, uh maybe there's a you know there's a different way you'd prefer to go about it, then we could look at that.
no. It seems like when you were talking to that gentleman that there was a party or event coming up that you may have an invitation to.
Oh, I definitely have an invitation to it.
Would that help with getting closer to that prophecy? Or is it just a side stage that would distract
That's a
from
great
getting?
question. I don't Prophecy's defended by the Einhorners, and I'd be a little bit surprised. I'd almost be surprised if they showed up at the meeting, because they're not the types to do so. But even if they did, I don't think they'd be heavily involved. I don't think they're eligible for the crown falling to their heads. So I don't know that the dinner has a chance of getting us closer to the geotech.
Okay.
Although it could distract people, just a simple event existing.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, it could tell us what way the winds are blowing among the noble houses, and I don't know. Maybe that's useful for something.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like you guys are going to try to get the Geotech anyway and get it to Otwin Gotthard.
That's my intention.
All right. Cool. I forgot to mention earlier, I don't think I did, that it was noon. It is now afternoon on the second day.
And I guess right after that decision was made, Alexandra probably would be like, if he, he double crosses us, and she'll pull out her so I have her sword, and she'll be like, "This will take its head off."
Okay. Who's the person you're talking about there? I'm okay. I like the principle, but I'm a little unclear who we're talking about.
I like the principle.
You said you said that you would take the prophecy to someone.
Yeah.
So that someone, if he double crosses us,
I don't know what that person's supposed to do. Our job is just to move the chair tech from point A to point B, and at that point, it's out of our hands. I think we're good once we've done that. I see what you're saying. All right. Okay. Yeah.
Imagine if she can snap somebody's elbow backwards, break someone's nose,
Yeah.
and
No,
then
it's
disembowel
pretty.
them without her Zweihander. Imagine what that thing could do.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And I'm looking it up because I want to make sure it can do everything.
It's a sword, so it probably can murder. Hmm. Yes. Let's. I'm right. I'm right about that, aren't I? That the dude of relevance, the partying elf, he likes to gamble, right? Is that a thing?
Yeah, and more so like everything that from parties to dining to soirees and more risque things, all of the sins of the flesh of the nobility here. Lath is partaker of it all, as much as
All
any
right.
noble person.
And I'm thinking we have, but specifically gambling was what I wanted to. Is there like a casino that he frequents? Did I
Yeah,
understand that correctly?
the
course.
games of chance for money. There's no casino, but people gamble and have games of chance constantly. And that sort of thing happens at Frisia Tower. Frisia Tower is sort of the arcade of the towers. It's a
Yeah.
place where everybody meets and drinks and eats and parties. And yeah. And yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, he would play games of chance for money.
All right. I'm just. God, he's our in definitely, but we need an angle on him. And I figure we have money, so we could head over to a casino and just casino it up. But then what's our? I guess we could just talk to him. Yeah, sure. We got money. Let's head over to Frezia Tower.
You're going to take all 500 crowns with you?
No, like 30.
30 crowns. It's a huge amount of money.
That's a huge amount. 12 crowns.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's like a lot
I
of
know
money.
I started this with 2 crowns, so we're making a rain here.
Yeah. Okay. So, it's becoming evening on the second day.
Gosh, the time just flies. You do nothing and it's the whole day's transpired.
Yes. Time definitely does go by. Approximately 1.5 days a session to 2 days. 1.5 to 2 days a session. So, let's see. I wanted to look up real quick for your Zweihander the qualities that it has. It is a martial melee weapon, I believe. The Zweihander. You can engage something up to a yard away. That's huge. So, like in 5e, where you can do 10 feet instead of 5. It's punishing, reach, and slow. So let me look up the punishing feature. I'm assuming you're going to want all this instead of it's just like, oh, it's a weapon and it's the same as any other weapon. It's like a gigantic sword. So,
I'm guessing like the punishing reach kind of just increases the distance in which I could, strike the individual.
L-M-N-O-P. I wish I had this in a PDF now. Repeating, punishing. Immediately after striking a foe, a weapon with this quality adds an additional d6. If you spend an additional action point. So you could use a two-handed sword. I have a two-handed sword here, and you could use a half sword to strike, or you could do something like that. You could use it close in, or you can do a big man cleaving strike where you chop someone in two. So if you use 2 whole action points, then you roll an entire extra d6. That means that if you had an exploding die or used one of these tokens, you would automatically get, you would get 2d6. It's pretty devastating. And if it exploded again, it would be 3d6. So.
And then you said slow.
Slow, yeah. I think. Let's see here.
Is that like a side effect of having such a large weapon that you're going to be a little bit slower?
Yeah, I would imagine that. Let's see. Slow. Whenever an enemy is struck with this, I give them an additional +10 chance for dodge or parry, because it's a big lumbering thing. So if they get hit by this thing, I'm giving them an additional chance to either parry or dodge it. At least easier, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can hit something further away. So if you ever ask the question, am I next to them, and I say no, you're not right next to them, you could always say, well, am I within 10 feet, or 2 yards or 5 yards or whatever. Anyways, okay. You already have your weapon qualities for your scissors, so. Okay, so Frezia Tower. So are you going to go try to find Lath and gamble with him?
I think that's my strategic objective.
Okay, Frezia Tower is right in the middle of Hallow Towers. And let's see here. When you arrive, you find that this place is... oh, that didn't show up. That's weird. Why is it not showing up? Might be having internet problems. When you arrive at the tower, this place is packed today. Like, it's getting to be early evening, and everyone's here is talking. Right, this is the lead up to one of the most to the biggest events in Dammerung in years. Right, so it's not hard to find. You have to wind your way up. There's this kind of spiraling, flat, strange structure that someone else other than humans made. It's part of the central structure of Frezia Tower. And you make it up 3/4 of the way up. And a server approaches you. I have to write this down too. Friends often. A server approaches you. And he says, may I get you anything, Lord?
Oh, yes, something that looks alcoholic but contains no alcohol, if you please.
And I apologize, Lord, but I certainly can arrange that, but your retainer must stay in the Buttery.
Oh, well, that's tragedy, but I understand, I think.
Of course. And he bows. He goes out and to prepare you a drink, and the expectation is that
Yeah.
Alexandrite would have to go
All
to
right. I'm sorry, but I think it sounds like you're inadequately dressed, so you're gonna have to stay in the butthole, which is it brought me immense pleasure to say mechanically, but not immense pleasure at an like emotional level.
Buttery. The Buttery.
He
Um,
definitely pronounced it like butthole.
guess
That was what I heard, and
you're
it's what I'm
doomed.
going with.
We've got Maximilian here trying to pull off this like complex operation calls the Buttery a
It's
butthole.
I'm the
We're
wrong
doomed.
person to be spearheading this operation.
Okay. Well, actually, I'm sorry. I assumed. So, Alexandrite, you go to Frezia Tower, and you go up. You see all of these noble women and noble persons and like fine outfits, like you had seen Franz often in before. They were all freely with tights, and they're wearing berets and um, um, what are these kind of hats? A hob, like where it's and berets and things where it's tied up, and they're all eating and drinking and laughing and stuff. And some of them are playing games. And so this person approaches and says, like, you have to go down to the Buttery. What do you do?
Have we gone inside or
Yeah, sorry, you went inside this tower. The
okay?
Tower Frezia is this huge. It's probably a low rise or higher by modern standards, and it has this central structure where it spirals up to multiple floors, and there are all these concourses where people are eating and dining and things like that. And you saw the Buttery on the way in, but you didn't go down. You basically would go down the spiral uh, to the subterranean level.
I guess I would go down, just to see if I can like hear anything, any rumors, anything like that that may be helpful.
All right. The Buttery is it is a much more lively place. One of the most lively and colorful places that you have seen since you've been in Dammerung. In fact, people here are still fairly well dressed. You can see that some people are very well armed and armored, within the laws of Dammerung, at least, as far as what they don't have concealed. And it's obvious that other bodyguards are here as well. And a man approaches you. Um, let's see here. Come on, roll 20. Whoops. Interesting. I don't have the show all player feature. Well, anyways, this man approaches you and he says, uh, um, "Hello there. Is there something that I can get you?"
No, thank you. And she just kind of walks past and finds the closest place to sit down.
He smiles warmly and then he goes back to work. And you can see in here that there are all these other. Obviously, they are like retainers, and they're also foreigners, like people obviously not from the Northern Vale. People from other lands with strange dress. And you also see something. You see a. Let me bring it up here. You see two small women or young girls, about the size of very small children, but with the faces of teenagers or young adults. They're probably halflings. This is a very rare thing. Yeah, and they're sitting by themselves. Otherwise, you have people that are obviously mercenaries, two people that are wearing turbans.
Do the two, I guess, halflings, do they look kind of nervous or anything?
One of them looks very carefree and jovial, and is swinging her feet, dancing her feet in the chair, like because it doesn't meet the floor. The other one does look very pensive and is looking around nervously.
Okay. She probably knowing that just her whole armored self is probably very intimidating. She'd probably go sit with the mercenaries.
All right. The ones with the turbans, or the ones with like the leathers that are more local?
The ones that look more local.
Okay.
Because
they're
they would probably have heard things.
they're gambling as well, and they're like, if you have money, you can join the game.
Does it cost to watch?
We don't have seats for watchers.
Interesting. And I guess I would have taken, a couple of crowns with me. Like, not too many, because I wouldn't think I would need that much money. But like 1 or 2 crowns.
Which is a huge
Now,
amount
would
of
they
money.
all,
That's like $2,000.
which is a huge amount of money, yeah. But would I be able to have had it, I guess, would it have been split up into anything other currency? Or is it just like a solid crown?
Yeah. It's like these
Okay.
like gigantic golden coins that are like the most valuable coinage in the land.
Hmm.
But you do have 500 of them between the two of you, 250 each, I suppose, or well, 500 divided by 3.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have taken too many of them, but I'm definitely not wanting to spend a whole lot of money on a gambling issue thing.
Sure.
Or gambling perspective, but
You could
like,
also
just looking at what they're wagering. What kind of currency am I seeing?
nothing like this. Like, we're talking copper pennies, which is
Okay.
like literally the difference between $100 bill stacks versus literal pennies, like in the order of magnitude.
So she would probably say your loss and walk towards the mercenaries with the turbans. Do they look like they're gambling?
Nope.
Okay. I'd probably go and see if they have any seats.
They greet you warmly and they're like, please have a seat.
And I'll take a seat.
Interesting.
Were you expecting me to gamble?
No, I love it. No. My name is Wasim and this is Arafat. We are from the Everquiet. Where are you from?
Everywhere, nowhere.
Those are many places that are very far apart.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at you, and you can tell that he can see this giant blade. Like he can see even though it's concealed. What employment have you found here?
I work as a bodyguard.
We do as well. My people from the Everquiet, they are very well known for this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it seems to my brother and I that the business arrangement we have is very dangerous. We came to guard a merchant to come into the city, and well, we weren't expecting what we'd find in the city.
Fortunately, things have been getting harder in the city from what has been going on recently.
Yes, well, We have a saying where we're from. When the sun burns one place, another place cannot shield it.
Too true, that statement. So you are thinking of potentially cutting your contract with this merchant?
We're thinking of doing this. Erfat, the other person, he pushes a drink towards you, like just to be congenial.
She would probably just stare at it for a moment and then say thank you, but not go out of her way to try to lift it up.
Sure.
Just because it would require her to take off her helmet.
Right. The Mandalorian issue. Need a straw.
Mandalorian issue, yes.
Anyways,
One must not take off helmet.
right. This is the way. What do we? So what do you do? Yeah, I mean, do you just pass the time, or what's your intention or goal? Bless you.
Thank you. Pollen season has hit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. She would probably try to hear or kind of go around with them and kind of talk about, you know, their experiences with bodyguarding, I guess in general, like, and then in between that, kind of gauge whether or not they've heard anything interesting from their time here, like any rumors, any interesting information that could be potentially helpful for what we're about to do. I guess that's the best way to describe it.
He lost it. There it is. Wasim noticed that those two see those show there. The Arafat, the other one that wasn't talking before, he says he's got kind of like he's a little got like a deeper voice, kind of bigger guy. He's with big meaty hands, and he points to the table with the halflings. He's like, "Do you see the table there with the young girls?"
And Swan looks rather nervous.
Yes, we noticed on the way in. They don't work for anyone here. But my brother also noticed that the barkeep here has been keeping an eye on them. I don't think that they're relatives. We also noticed on the way here that there were other people not dressed like our masters. And they were making out across two of the towers. They seemed a bit out of place, if you ask me. The people here really seem to enjoy their lace and their silks.
And they were just let in?
Yes. Well, no one has come down here from the house guards to check. Perhaps they think the security is taken care of by people like us. But those two don't belong here. And that innkeep is doing something with moving people across from the towers. There's another thing that my brother noticed. There's only one elf here. We saw him come in. No others of his kind.
Interesting. I think I had heard from my masters that There is one family of elves here. Rather noble family. Wealthy.
Wasim, he says, yes, I have also heard this. That there's a family of elves, but we've traveled on many of these streets and we have not seen many elves. I'm going to pan the camera back. And meanwhile, 3/4 of the way up Frezia Tower, Maximilian, you see Lord Lathalin Einrinre, and he is drinking and engaging in a game of chance.
I'd like to show me my way over. How many people is he chancing with?
There are 2 people here. I will show them to you. There is a woman who is wearing a combination of like a leather corset with a what is this thing called?
A bodice or something?
It is like a bodice. I was thinking of the hat, Woolstab, a thing like a big bound rolled up hat that takes up a bunch of space, and then she's got like a leather thing here. In our world, this would look kind of racy, and then like some like lacy things that come up over her shoulders. Really need to work on my fashion terminology. And the man is wearing something much more subdued, but not subdued by the standards of anybody else, but just by the towers, and that he is. It's a striped combination of like blues and blacks. That's what's it called? The fabric is separated, pleated, and then like has shoulders himself that are like that, and then it poofs out around the hips, and then it's just tights, and then those little black shoes, you know. And but there's a man and a woman that is sitting there playing this game with him, and then Lath himself, who is wearing a sort of martial outfit, which is common for. Why is the show to players function not working? I don't understand. I mean, but anyways, he's wearing a sort of ceremonial armor over underneath a leather, a combination jerkin and what are those things called? Gambison. That has like a leather belt. It sort of has this martial appearance to it within like a red tabard. And he sees you and he just nods to you and smiles. You do not know this person, and he does not know you. The dream of Dungeons and Dragons is to be able to get to simulate the fun in life of finding a way to talk to someone at a party. It's great.
Yeah,
It's like everyone's fantasy.
Yeah, I'll kind of assuming he's the only elf I've seen around here, and can deduce this guy's probably Lath. I'll suavely butt in and say, "Hey, do you have a room at this table?"
Of course, please join us. And this is actually incredibly, noble behavior in that he says, "Please allow me to introduce myself and my friends. I am Lathalin Einrinere, and these are my friends Balthasar and Luapilda. And we're enjoying a game this evening, and it's early evening now. Actually, evening, but before the sun is set."
Yes, I'm Maximilian von Spee. My friends call me Max. I was just kind of hoping to get out and about. There's this dinner coming up, and I'm a little behind on the latest gossip, so you guys seem like quite charming company. What's the game?
The man Balthazar, he kind of giggles, like he laughs, like oh, like that's very quaint, you know, and like and he says, gossip is delightful, isn't it? Lathlin says, please, Balthazar, please. This is actually, what is this thing called? It's called Farkle. He says, we're just playing a game of Farkle. You're welcome to join us, of course, if you wish. Buy-in is
Of course.
a shilling.
Absolutely, I will produce a shilling.
Okay. And everybody is given a set of dice. Let's see, you have 6 dice. They're all 6-sided. And the way the game works is every time you toss your dice, you gain a point anytime you keep dice for any 1 or 5 or 3 of a kind. It steps up based on how many 3 of a kinds you have. So 3 1s are 1,000 points, 5 4s are 1,600 points, etc., and so on and so forth. And if you have a full run, like if you have like 6 6s, then you've won automatically. That's like a, what do you call it, a full house or whatever, you know. Now, each time you can choose to keep certain points, but if you roll the dice and don't have any points on the next roll, you lose everything. Does that make sense? So, and I'll start the round here. Balthazar starts first, so he's going to roll 5d6 and then another d6. And he has a 3, a 5, and 3 4s. So if he kept his hand and said, all right, I'm going to keep my 3, my 5, and my 3 4s, and then he's going to hold on to that and then lose the 2 and roll that die again. If he then if he didn't get anything, he didn't get a 3 or 5, he loses everything. So it makes sense right now. He's going to stand. Nope, I'm not going to do it anymore. So now he has and let me count the points. A 1 is 100 points. 5 is 50 points. And then he's got 4 4s, which is 800 points. So right then and there, he's got 950 points. Oh, he's got 3 4s, sorry. 3 4s are 400 points. They're 100 points each, so it's 400 points. So that's 550. Okay, so he stands, and Lupilda she'll roll. And I'll only roll for 3. That's a lot of rolling. Let's see. So she got a 3 and a 5. Wow. And a 3 and 3 4s. So she got 250 plus 400 is 650 points. And then Lath. And she's also going to stand. She's not going to roll next time. Lath got a 5 and a 3 and 2 4s. So he's going to keep the 5 and 3, which is 150 points, and then he's going to take 4 of the dice and roll them next time. Now, if he rolls those 4 dice and doesn't get anything next time, he loses the whole thing. All right, now it's your turn.
Right, is there a reason for the 5d6 and a d6, or does 66 work just fine?
You can totally do 66. I'm just using dice roller thing, and instead of actually doing 66.
Ah, I see. Okay, well, let's roll out 66 here. Those are definitely numbers.
So let's see. You got 2 3s
Two twos.
and 2 2s. So you could either throw the twos back in, because
Yeah, I think I'll keep the threes and throw everything back
oh,
in.
you need 3 of a kind, not 2 of a kind. 3 of a kind is when you can get 100 each. So okay, so now you have 4 dice in your deck. Meanwhile, what are you saying to Lath?
That's a good question.
And he will roll while you do that.
So what are your expectations? Do you think anything interesting is going to happen at the dinner?
And you can make a either a rumor check or a eavesdrop, a charm, or an awareness check when you say that, or scrutinize.
It's all
Actually,
the same.
I want
So
you to just pick it for me, and tell me how you'd use it, because there's a lot. So we use like
I'll,
probably.
I'll just rumor it. I'm just proud and seeing what he feels inclined to share to this random dude. And I think I'd like to use a fate thingy to
All
succeed.
right, fate thingy it is.
Yep,
Um,
come at me.
he says, and this opens him up. So it's kind of like a persuasion. He says,
Mhm.
"I don't know if I will be in attendance. My father, my father is not very fond of these functions of the city. I'm sad to say."
Mm.
And I actually rolled that incorrectly. Let's see. He's got 4. Roll 4d6. And he got a 2 3s. So he's got a straight. So he's got 200, and that's 300. But he can't because he would lose. So he actually has to give the deck back and roll again in order to win the round. And it's your turn to roll. And he says, "My father, he doesn't seem to understand the importance of this moment in history. I'm sorry to be so so direct with you, um, Maximilian, but well, I really believe this city could be something really great. I really believe that. Do you believe that, Maximilian?" And you got
I
a 3.
mm-hmm.
Do you keep it or do you put it back in the deck? Remember, you have to beat a 650 point run.
I assume. Does the three get added to my previous threes?
Yeah, and a 3 is worth
Or
100 points.
and so that turns into a three of a
Yeah, and keep in
kind of
mind
deal.
that if you then roll 3d6 and don't get one of those, then you lose everything.
Yeah, well, it seems like I'm gonna do that anyway, so I'll keep the three and take him a three dice back.
All right, and go ahead. What were you saying?
Say, I think so. I'm a little not not terribly impressed with how things are going right now. There's a lot of effort being put into the city, and it's just not. I don't know that it's quite coming out the way it should.
When you say this, Lupilda and Balthasar start to look really uncomfortable. But Lath is like riveted, and he's like leaning forward and listening to you, and he's like, "It's just that I really believe. I believe in the oracles. I believe in the city, and I love our city. And I know that the oracles teach that if we work hard, that we can not avoid mutation and be saved. And I know that they believe that this moment is coming, but I also believe that Dammerung has something to give the veil." And let's see, he will. The others are standing, so he's going to roll. Um, He has to roll all of them. Roll d4. Roll 46. Oops. Roll 6. And he gets... Okay, so he's going to stand on that, so I think that's 2... No, he can't. He has to roll it again, or else he'll lose automatically. Okay. And you can roll. And what do you say in response to that?
I say, what do you think Dammerung has to give?
Well, to tell you the truth, my family in particular, you know,
Is that
each...
wrong?
Oh, yeah, no, it didn't. It did D3, D6, so yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
talking and typing. All right.
you lost your hand.
All right. I accept these terms.
Um, and then Balthasar's like, ha ha ha, you know, because he's winning. And let's see, he's gonna finish 4d6, finish his hand, and then admit he's got a 3 and 5, and admit defeat on that. That's a total of 300. So Balthasar gains a silver shilling, and he goes last. Okay, he says all of the houses have exports. Maximilian, and mine is no exception. The things, the ownings and the holdings of Ein Rinneray are grand. In particular, we ourselves, this tea, and he points to like the servers. I know that House Theobaldo makes that leaf of tea, but we have a competing tea, and we're talking to merchants in other places. You see, that's the key. That's the key. It's being open to the outside, Maximilian. It's people from outside of Dammerung. If we can work with people from across the sea, and I know there's this current crisis, and the Verzheiners are, the Holy Guard is stopping shipments and everything, but there's also overland shipments. There are cities nearby. There's Silvermine. There's Hogsfeet. There's the traders. There are people here all the way from the Everquiet, thousands of miles away. We have something to offer, but part of that is to trade with the outside. That's the key. Letting people in from the outside, that's the key.
That's your tell me now. I'll lean in a little conspiratorially. I'll say, is this the official position of your house?
At this, Balthazar and Pilda become really uncomfortable, and they're like, "That was a delightful game, Lath, but I think we will move on if you don't mind. Have a wonderful evening." And the sun is starting to set, and he bows, and they bow to him. They walk off, but he's still sitting there, and he's riveted by this conversation. Like he's like, "No, it is not. No, it is not."
That's I happen to think that's quite true elsewhere. Trade's been, suffering throughout the city, and the tradesmen themselves are in a real crisis at the moment. It would require quite a change, I think, to the direction around here.
See, that's exactly right. It's not a change to the teachings of the oracles. I believe, Maximilian. I am faithful, but there is so much that we do that, in truth, it's not in accordance with the teaching. What we need is a new direction, and my father just doesn't understand that. Something keeps him so quiet in the council, and that's behind us now. Just because my ears are pointed, just because I'm older than humans, just because we have a different cultural heritage, it doesn't mean that we can't share and benefit from one another. And certainly my house, it doesn't. And he stops and he's like, never mind.
No, I've take a moment to quickly look through my notes. Do 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 do.
While you do that, I'm gonna pan back.
Sounds great.
Let's see here. Meanwhile, back in the Buttery, you're sitting with these people and talking about the comings and goings of people that they've seen, that the elves have been very reclusive. The drinks are wonderful here, actually. It's some of the best you've ever had. Eventually, you see that the halfling girls have left the building, or at least this area. They went into the back of the Buttery. And you could also make a awareness check.
Okay.
I'm gonna peace out for a moment. I'll be back.
You want to use one of these?
Awareness, perception. Even with the +10 to the skill with the skill rank.
Yeah? You want to use a token? You don't
Yeah.
have to. You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. You hear something crash in the back of the Buttery, and you notice the innkeep dart his eyes in the direction of a door. And you think you hear the vibration of a growl.
I would probably try to finish the conversation I had with the two gentlemen and kind of, I guess, make my way over to the barkeep and kind of lean in and not like overtly be like super loud, but did you hear that crash in the back?
I don't know what you mean. No. It's clear that he's lying.
And I'll kind of lean in a little bit closer. So, you're going to lie to my face when something could potentially be hurting my master upstairs?
No, please. What do you want from me?
Will you get upset if I go check it out? If it's not a big deal, then I will go and leave it alone.
I don't think that's best, madam. I don't think it's best to just be looking around the Buttery. Please.
So
He
you want
looks
to
really
put my
nervous.
master? You want to put my master at risk? And I kind of lean just a little bit closer. My job is to protect my master. I don't think you want to see the side of me if something were to happen to him under this building's roof. Because you did not let me investigate.
Well, could you perhaps if you could try to do it quietly?
Of course.
Okay.
I don't mind doing
He
things
nervously
quiet.
reaches in and gets a key to the room. He's like, it's a meat cellar.
And I'll like gently take it from him and then pat him gently on the hand, as gently as I can. And be like, this will be done quietly, and I will be quick. Do you need anything while I'm down there? Need me to bring anything up for you?
No, of course. And like he nervously like gets back to work. There it is. I'm trying to find it. Yeah.
Okay. So I will, I guess, make my way over, not overtly, but like, I guess, quietly and not to make any sort of attention to myself. I guess stealthy, I guess is the best way.
Sure, you're able to quietly open and go in without anyone taking much notice of you, and it's it's dark in here. There's no not much in the way of light. And I guess that's one thing. So in order to be stealthy, you got to get the door closed. You get on the other side, and it's dark. You can smell the smell of salt and grain, and the sweet, rancid turn of
Oh,
barley. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think my mother's at the door
Oh,
with
okay.
my
Actually, let's
Yeah.
end the session there.
Okay.
Wait, one more thing. Go ahead. Go ahead and answer the door, like, cause there's
Okay.
one thing. Yeah,
I'll be right back.
yeah.
Okay, I think
Okay.
you had said last thing before I went to go
Yeah.
get my cat in the
So,
house.
I don't have a good. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Oh yeah. Let me see here. Let me find this. Um, this, and then I want this. Yes. Okay. So it's dark in here when you close the door, and you can smell like the sweet, turning, rancid smell of like barley and millet and things like that, and you can smell the acrid smell of alcohol that's kept here. More than anything, the salt and mustiness of meats that you can hear swinging from hooks that are being served. The meat. This is the meat cellar. That's what this is. And then you start to hear noises. Something like maybe like that. No, it's like a gurgling, burbling, like uh, a roar. Except the thing that's roaring has something stuck in its throat and is choking. And then you start to see eyes. Um, and I'm going to reload Roll20 because I need to actually be able to show you this. And for some reason, it won't let me. Okay, let me try it now. Still didn't work. I don't understand. Well, I'll have to use. There it is. It's a thing that you can see it kind of like begin to move parallel to itself, almost like a snake. But then on the other side is not space, but this maw with these serpent-like tongues, and it's covered in eyes, and parts of it, vestigial pieces of it, are lapping and flapping along the length of it, and a big portion of it slaps into the floor and starts to draw itself towards you, and that's where we'll end the session.